cold email changed in 2026. In this video, I'm going to go over what you actually need to put your focus on and what actually changed and how you can't just blast a billion cold emails and expect to have good results like you could have 1 or 2 years ago, and what you actually need to put your effort on and the biggest needle movers in 2026. This is everything I've learned based on 584,100 emails I've personally sent, and let's get right into it. So TLDR, the main thing that's going to make you stand out is your data. Not your copy and not your tool, and not how you use AI to write your messaging. It's going to be the data lists that you're going to use and how you can segment them and how you can sort them. So let's get into 4 things that explain the current situation and what you should actually do. So why volume died, the 2 lists method I'm personally using, a worked example of me using one of those methods, and benchmarks you should expect to see when you use cold email in the right way in 2026. What used to work is that you would pick one of those 2 sides. You would either do manual LinkedIn messages where you'll write handwritten messages to every contact that you're reaching out to, and you'll get decently high reply rates, and you'll get a lead here and there, and you'll get some really good leads, but on a really low volume and scale. And the other way was you'll just get an Apollo export and you'll blast infinite amount of cold emails, and the accuracy was bad, but you will send so much volume that would get good results. And it used to work really well until now. In 2026, you can get the best of both worlds, but neither of those ways are actually the best way to do on their own. So accurate and tiny still works, but huge volume game that used to work 1 or 2 years ago doesn't work anymore because spam filters rewrote the rules. You can't just blast infinite volumes because Google is going to put you in the spam folder based on what you actually write in your copy. Spam filters are way harder than they were 1 or 2 years ago, and you just can't use the same way of messaging that worked 1 or 2 years ago. So volume is now a fixed thing that you can't really change. You can't just send 10,000 emails with the same variant. You get a certain amount of sends per variant that you can actually send before it starts going to spam. And the entire question is, how can you have as many variants that are relevant to send? Because if you have a really big list with a lot of different variants, you can send those high volumes, but each one need to actually hit. You just need a ton of good working variables. So the best way to look at it is cold email is practically paid media right now. You have your sends, which is your budget, which is capped, metered, and spent, and you can just spend infinite amount of money. And you have your segments, which is your audiences, which is not one list, it's a bunch of tiny lists. And you have your copy, which is your creative that is written per your audience and not one template. So the question right now is, how do you still get high volumes with different copy variants and different segments? Because before a human would make the lists, and right now we have AI, we can use AI to segment our lists and just make a ton of different creatives for your cold email campaigns, and basically make a ton of copy variants for a ton of tiny lists. And that way you can have the same level of accuracy as a manual written LinkedIn message, but on a mass scale that will convert way higher. So the thesis basically is that volume died because you can't just infinitely send emails without them going to spam. You right now have a budget, which is the amount of sends you can send per variant, and it's going to be the same as media buying, where you need to have your segments and you need to have your winning copy. And basically the moat right now is having really good data on your lists and segmenting them into different type of lists that you can use with different type of copy. So let's get into 2 methods I'm personally using to get really good data that actually prints on cold email. So method number 1 is segmenting the lists that you already have. So to keep it short, take your big Apollo list and take a local model like Gemma, where you can run it on your computer for free and without paying for tokens, and find a variable that is not obvious that you can segment your lists based off. So to give you an example, instead of using the fintech tag in AIR or Apollo, look for companies that have a pricing page that shows per seat billing. And you can get a tool like HTML to text of each prospect's company, and you'll have the entire text of their website. And based off that, you can make different type of lists. You have the lists of the per seat billing, and you have the list of the enterprise let's talk if you're enterprise. And you can segment by different type of things like that. And with that, you can change your copy. So this is the copy for enterprise software, and this is the copy for a CRM, and this is the copy for X, Y, and Z, that you couldn't reach that level of precision before using a tool like Apollo. And with that, you can make really sharp copy, and you can have a ton of different variants, and you can make sure that you're not going to spam, because it's all different scattered cold email campaigns that actually make to one massive campaign that is sending high volumes at high precision and high conversion rate. So the thing to keep in mind is that the list is your message. If you have a really precise list, you can make a really precise message to that list and just have a bunch of different lists with a bunch of different messages. And that way you reach really high precision at really high scale. Method number 2 is sourcing data that no one has. And this is actually my favorite. So Apollo is a great product, but everyone has access to it. And because of that, even if you have a really good copy, that person has received 50 cold emails that day. And that makes standing out really hard, even if you have a really good copy and offer. So because of that, if you can reach out to contacts that no one else has, you're going to have a way higher reply rate and way more positive interactions. So my personal favorite method is using non-obvious data sources. I'm going to give you an example. I had a client that was selling to manufacturers, and what we did is we got a ThomasNet export, which is basically a database of all of the manufacturing companies in the US, and we scraped all of it. And then we used a bunch of different Sonnet agents that researched each company name and got us the name of the founder or owner or CEO. And then we did a pattern guess of the emails of all of those founders and CEOs. We took their full name and we took their domain, and we made AI guess their email addresses with different variations. And then we used a validation tool like Lead Magic that validated the good email addresses. And that way we found email addresses that no one had access to. And that way you get a list that is not getting pitched 100 times per day like your Apollo list, and you're going to have a way higher conversion rate. And we had a really good conversion for manufacturing. So if you're targeting SMBs, a good benchmark to look for is one booked call for up to 500 emails, and that's if you're reaching out to SMBs with a good list and a good offer. And honestly, it's a very good benchmark that is possible to get, but only on really high converting campaigns. And most likely the standard results you're going to get with a good list and a good offer is for every 30,000 emails, you can expect 10 to 20 booked calls. But the good thing is that the cost to run that type of system is only a couple $100 per month. So if your product is over $10,000 in ACV, you are getting 20 sales opportunities that are going to be worth so much more than a couple $100, and your ROI is going to be massive compared to other channels like paid ads. So to conclude, what's changed is that blasting infinite volumes with one template doesn't work anymore because of the spam filters. And what's changed is that you need to have really good data, and you need to look at your cold email campaigns like paid media with different types of audiences and different types of creatives. And if you do that, you're going to win. And you can send high volumes at high precision and get really good results with outbound. So if all of that sounds like hard work and you'd like someone to do that for you, you can book a call with me in the link down below. We're generating 100 leads per month for our clients at the moment, and I'd be happy to get similar results for you as well. And if you'd like to get more helpful tips like that, I'm posting a video every week, so you can subscribe to this page, and I'll see you soon.